Hello, welcome to 1.2 Exponents and Powers. A couple key terms for 1.2 is the term power. Okay, any expression that looks like this is called a power. These are all powers. The exponent is the number, or often referred to as the power itself. So the exponent is this number right here, this 2. Okay, the base is the number that's getting multiplied by itself. Okay, the 8. Okay, and the last term is grouping symbols, and we'll get to that soon. Okay, grouping symbols collect a bunch of numbers. The most common grouping symbol is the parentheses. Okay, and then you may see brackets when there's more than one parenthesis. Alright, so let's look at some powers. Okay, the first one is 5 to the second power. Okay, or 5 squared. And what that means is we are going to do 5 times 5. Second one is 8. I'm going to change this up. Okay, there you go. 8 to the third, also known as 8 cubed. Which means we're going to do 8 times 8 times 8. 3/8. Alright, and then the last one is y to the 8th power. Which means we're going to do y times 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 y, and I just barely got it in there. Okay, 8 y's. We're going to multiply y 8 times. Okay, so let's look at this again. 5 squared. Well, that's 5 to the second power. B to the 5th power. B to the 5th. Y cubed. Well, that means y to the third. Alright, and that's how we write all those out. Evaluating powers. We have x to the 4th when x equals 3. So now we're going to evaluate, which, if you remember, we're going to take the number, the value of the variable. The value here is 3. The variable is x. And we're going to substitute the value 3 in for x. So we have x to the 4th. We're going to take 3, and instead of writing x, we're going to write 3. So we have 3 to the 4th. Which means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. If you do this in your calculator, you'll get 81. Alright, again, evaluating powers, all we're doing is substituting in the value in for the variable. Grouping symbols. Okay, grouping symbols tell us what to do first. Okay, in this case, in our first example, we have 3 plus 4 plus 6, but the grouping symbols tell us to do 3 plus 4 first. If there were no grouping symbols, we'd probably do that anyways, but it tells us to do 3 plus 4, which is 7, and then add 6 to it, which you get 13. This one, the next one, 8 minus 2 plus 3, we have to do 2 plus 3 first. which is 5. So we're going to do 8 minus 5, which is 3. And then the last one says 3 times 2 plus 6. Well, that tells us to add first, so we're going to do 3 times 2 plus 6, which is 8. And then we're going to multiply the 2. 3 times 8 is 24. All right, evaluating expressions. Again, with the grouping symbols now. Okay? So we are going to, actually I'm going to switch this up here. We have x is 3, y is 2. So we're going to substitute in 3 for x and 2 for y. So instead of writing x, I'm going to write 3. Instead of writing y, I'm going to write 2. Okay? 3 minus 2, we have to do this first because it's in parentheses, is 1. And then we have 1 to the third power, which means 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. The next one, we're going to substitute again 3 for x and 2 for y. Okay, not changing anything else except for the x and the y. 3 squared, which means 3 times 3, we have to do first. That's 9. Plus 2 squared, which means 2 times 2, which is 4. Now we're left with 9 plus 4, which is 13. The next example says 2x cubed, or 2x to the third power. Now we're going to substitute the 3 for x, so we have 2 times 3 to the third. Okay? 3 to the third is 27. So now we have 2 times 27 equals 54. Okay? These two kind of look the same, but the parentheses are going to play a different role here. All right? If I do 2 times 3, we substituted in 3 for x to the third power, I have to do the parentheses first. 2 times 3 is 6. Now I have 6 to the third power, which means 6 times 6 times 6, and that is 216. So while they look the same, the parentheses tell us two different things. Let's look at a word problem. Volume. A fish tank has the shape of a cube. Each inner edge, S, is 3 feet long. Find the volume of the tank in cubic feet. Alright, so S is 3 feet long. So we know S equals 3. And we could use this formula, volume for a cube, V equals S cubed. So we have V, and we're going to sub in the value for S, which in this case is 3. V equals 3 to the third power, or 3 cubed, which means 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So we're going to say 27 feet, all right, and the units would be feet cubed. All right, I want you to go ahead and try the practice problems from your book.